Trophy helped me out in scrims today. What? All right,
That's a
we're
new
gonna
thing.
begin.
They found out that the people misspelled trophy in the game or something like that.
Oh,
And
really?
people have been talking about it, yeah. Just like how funny that is.
Come
How do
on,
you how you
guys.
let yeah.
Wait, nobody owned up to being less than 14 years old, man. That's a bunch of liars
Means
in here.
we have a more mature audience for
A
now.
mature audience.
The mature. It hasn't gone out to the YouTubers yet, yeah. So
All right, let me switch over to the big screen. All right, well, thank you guys all for rocking with us today. Appreciate you guys stopping by. Trey and Farrell dropping some subs. So let's get started. Um, I had this up because it's just funny. Like, I don't know if this guy's being serious or this was a troll, but he goes, a more fast-paced art club, and he just puts a circle around the center of the damn map.
hey, cut
he's
out all the edges.
he's just trolling. He's got to be trolling,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, that map would be pretty
I
good
mean,
though.
he's
So
not wrong. Even though it's a troll, it's not wrong. Those outer hard points are so ridiculous to play.
mm-hmm.
It's actually absurd.
Oh, somebody commented on your mustache in the chat. Did you tape it up today? It actually looks
No,
pretty good.
I didn't do anything
You
to
just
it.
woke up like
I haven't
this?
done it. Yeah, I'm
Oh,
naturally handsome. In case you
okay.
guys didn't know.
Okay.
What I'm not?
All right, no, you are. All right, moving on. We
Yeah.
got the patch notes, guys. So this was released today. I know a lot of people, and a common thing that a lot of the pros are saying are they're just playing to play right now, is what they're saying. Like a lot of people are sort of just waiting on that big competitive patch to come out. And when the one was released today, I think a lot of people thought that this was going to be something competitive, right? They didn't really fix too much in regards to competitive, man. Like if anything, let's see. We'll go over all of it real quick. General fixes. For those of you who haven't read it, you can see it right here. This is like fix the misspelling of trophy, like just like little things inside of the game. They fixed the bug with ground war with the respawn screen. So if you're a ground war player, there you go. They fixed these challenges, so they actually work now. They buffed the AUG a little bit, but I haven't got a chance to use it. But I was watching some team scrim today, and they were telling each other not to pull out the AUG. So I guess it's not very good. And they did nerf the hell out of 725. Thank God. It's not as good anymore. Um,
Um,
that's good.
if you, I guess if you're a public match player, which is I don't know, 90% of
It was solid
people that
update.
play COD, it's solid. I mean, the 725 is annoying in pubs, and I guess if you're doing AUG challenges, which is the only reason you use that gun, this should help you out, right?
Yeah.
But in terms of the patch that all the players in the community were waiting for, this really didn't do much.
Yeah.
So hearing that there was a patch coming today, it kind of like bolstered people's hopes, and then they just felt let down, right?
I
And that's
mean,
just natural as a competitor.
I think a lot of people also felt let down, and me being included in that, and the fact that like the spectator glitch seems like something that should be able to be fixed pretty easily, right? Like it stopped me and you from playing search and destroy, and like it's not like we can get on and just go and scrim all the time. Like I play search, that's my thing right
Yeah.
now to have fun in the game. That's what I prefer to do. Everybody likes certain things about the game, and search and destroy happens to be a big one in the competitive scene. Get on and play a search tournament, and it's literally unplayable right now. One with that blur glitch that we're going to get into in a second, but also with the spectator glitch. And it's a massive issue because this is the Modern Warfare Reddit. This isn't even the COD competitive Reddit. And even right here, the top comment is, "Are you going to fix the S&D spectator glitch?" It's absolutely unacceptable. That glitch is in the
it,
game, and
it makes the
it needed
game
to get
just
fixed.
hard to play. Like one of the modes that is probably the most popular competitive mode is just hard to play. Like it's already just ridiculous. Even some of the maps right now, they're just not that great. The bomb site placements are not that great. And then when you add in these glitches, it feels like to me, if I was running the game, if I was making the game, that would be the first thing I attacked.
Yeah.
Like as soon as it was found out by anyone in the community. Also, what are the QA testers doing? You
I
guys,
don't
I don't know
know.
if you guys know this about the creation of games, but there's a process where people sit in a room and just play the game nonstop. Because no matter what you do, no matter what you create, there's always going to be bugs and glitches, and like you're going to be able to see through walls you shouldn't. And the QA tester's job is to play the game and then bring up those issues. What were they doing? Like, this is a glaring issue. You die, and you can see the whole map.
They need to
You can see a
also,
whole
yeah,
lane.
you can see the whole
That should have
lane.
been issue number one
I
from
mean,
these guys.
people are clutching
Number
rounds.
one.
Yeah, it should be issue number one. It should have been fixed in this patch immediately. Like the gun tuning, sure. I don't really see anybody say anything about the AUG. The 725 clearly needed to be nerfed, so that was massive. But they needed to fix the spectator glitch, and they also need to fix the death cam as well. A lot of spectator things going on that makes the game not competitive. But the S&E spectator glitch is clearly like something that wasn't intended to be in the game that just needs to be removed. So I'm hoping another patch comes out this week because this is already going on what 6 days or so. No, like 4 or 5 days that I can't play at all, just because the combination of those two things, those two glitches. But let's move on to this this glitch. This glitch is insane. Um, so Parasite quotes it. Let me go to the actual tweet so you guys can see the video. So I'm gonna explain this to some of you guys who maybe don't understand it. All right, so excuse me for the quality. It's Twitter. So if you can see when he goes here and he has the option to mount, right? So that's an option in the game. Obviously you can mount any wall, any head glitch, anything like that. It disappears, right? Why does it disappear? Because there's somebody on the bomb. So whenever somebody's defusing or planting the bomb, if you go to an area that has a line of sight towards the bomb and try to mount, the icon will disappear when they're on the bomb. So what this does is it allows players to not have to peek the bomb whatsoever, which essentially ruins search on another level, right? Like there's just you can't play at this point. It's unplayable. I'm surprised people are still playing search tournaments right now.
This is the glitch that made me stop playing. Like the spectator and the death cam glitch is whatever. Like it's not good.
Both.
It's not good. But this one right here made it where it's like it actually is game breaking. Changes the game completely. You don't even have to check bomb in a lot of situations. There's 20 seconds left at a spot where sometimes you have to make a decision. Go check the bomb, not check the bomb, like whatever. That's part of search and destroy. That's like maybe the biggest part of search and destroy. Now it's just gone.
Yeah.
You stand by any wall, and you can do it pretty much as soon as you are aware of its existence. Like I didn't even know it was a thing, but as soon as I did, I laid down in a random spot, and then it disappeared. Am I cheating? Not really. It just pops up on your screen. Like, what are you gonna do about it?
Yeah.
You just know. You just now know to go check the bomb or whatever the situation is, and it's just unplayable.
Yeah, I mean, there's just been a lot of things about this game that have been tough, but at least they're being pretty proactive. They have a lot on their plate right now to fix. It just feels like the game wasn't really done when it came out. But Mickner addressed this in a tweet to Parasite, where he goes, "I have a local fix. We'll patch it as soon as possible." Parasite goes, "Please, we have an important tournament tomorrow. Also, how's spectator glitch going?" So let's let's talk a little bit about this back and forth, right? Neither one of them are really in the wrong. So like Mickner and them, they're obviously addressing it. They're trying to fix it. They're scrambling to get it done. But at the same time, you have these players who are playing these 2K tournaments and stuff that's very important for the path to pro and system, later in the year. And they're dealing with these glitches that are game-changing, like non-competitive glitches that are game-changing. However, you can't really be super angry because they're fixing it. Like tomorrow is impossible. However, the spectator is already fixed in the next major patch. What's frustrating people is that this glitch has been a thing. Like, who knows how long that glitch has been there? People just figured it out. These glitches have been a thing for a little bit, and they dropped a patch without fixing it. I think that's why people are so angry, but at least they addressed it, and it'll be fixed in the next patch.
Yeah, I mean, if there's one thing about Infinity Ward is that even when they do make mistakes, in the past they have gone out of their way to help the competitive community like later on and fix as much as they can with the product that they made. They fix it up. Like if you guys remember Infinite Warfare at the beginning, it was like ridiculously almost unplayable. There was like no auto aim in a lot of spots. The spawns, you remember Hardpoint? You would literally spawn like continuously behind each other, like over and over and over and over. And like David Mickner does do a lot of work with the community. He does listen, so it might not be timely, but they will do their best to get the patch out to everybody.
Yeah, and I look forward to that patch, man. Because then,
me too.
Like I'm hoping in that patch, it's just a huge competitive patch, right? Like that there's just a fix to some spawns in Hardpoint. The camera gets fixed. Like this game would be pretty solid. Like if those two glitches, Search and Destroy, if those two glitches get fixed and Dead Silence tweaked a little bit, Search would actually be pretty solid in this game. I really think like at least the maps for Search to me, they aren't too bad. I kind of like Arclov. I like some of the maps. So I think if you fix those things, like that becomes bearable. And then if you fix the spawns, Hardpoint becomes more bearable. And we have a solid game at least to start off with and build upon. But I think right now that's why everybody's so frustrated and taking to Twitter is because it's like unplayable competitively at the moment.
That's what we got with that. I mean, once they do fix those issues, though, I think that and maybe the spawns, I think that the players will just become silent. Like right now, they're complaining a lot, and that's kind of normal for the beginning of these titles. But as soon as these things get fixed, you're gonna see players get to work, and then I think we can start getting into like the crux of the game and the competitive scene, and just start actually talking about which of these teams are the best and what we see with their progression.
Because right now, that's what's really holding me back from even on this show, right? What's holding me back from talking about team's performance in scrims, like, I mean, obviously scrims don't mean the most, but you can sort of gauge like how good a certain team is and who's really good. it's really hard to talk about that stuff right now because the anticipation of such a big patch. Because you have these, great players, GOAT players, not really, trying that hard right now. Like I know the Gorillas haven't even played yet and stuff like that because they're anticipating this major patch to come in, and hopefully it comes soon. But
Hate H1996 in the chat says, I feel like this COD is really hard to watch. And I think that what we're talking about adds to that, and the fact that the rotations are extremely long. I don't know if you guys have sat and watched a whole scrim, but like 6 hardpoint maps and a ton of Dom maps makes for one extremely long scrim, and that's never how it is when it gets down to it. Usually there's like a 4 to 5 hardpoint rotation at most. And right now the rotation is just massive. Like if you're only playing 2 hardpoints in a series, there's no reason for there to be 6 hardpoints. It's plain and simple.
I mean, yesterday
And
we
it's just
scrimmed,
like,
right? And at the end
yeah,
of the hard points, we were like, we're not playing DOMs. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
it's long. Like,
I mean, yeah, everybody has their certain thing about the game. Like Trey Freedog in the chat goes, if you don't have 4 eyes or 20/20 vision, you can't see anything in the game.
that's facts.
It is kind of facts, but I disagree with it to some extent. I think the more you play, the more you know exactly where to look at, and it becomes a little bit easier.
You must be next level because I get on certain maps in certain spots and I can't see a damn thing. I like, literally clean my glasses after every single map. Like,
Yeah,
sheesh.
you also got some big old bifocals as well. Looney says only 9 maps, 5 HPs, 4 DOMs.
I think he's saying that's what he wants it to be. Looney, can you clarify that in the chat? That's not what it is currently, right? You're just saying that's what you want them to cut it down to. Uh, but because I'm pretty sure we played 6 DOMs yesterday that every pro team is playing in rotation.
Yeah, we had Cave, Petro, Arklov,
Arklov.
Ramaza, Hackney, and Gunrunner. We
Oh,
had 6.
maybe they got rid of something that we're not aware about. But
Thank you for the sub, King Kong. All right, well, let's move into another big, major topic this week. There was actually a lot of drama this week, but we're not a drama show, so we don't really go too much into it unless there's something huge. But we will talk about this kind of. This was the CMG announcement about their tournaments and what they were changing. So they made an announcement that goes, we are happy to announce skill-based tournaments, Novice, Amateur, Pro. And then they put out a link, so I'm going to click this link. Novice, Amateur, Pro. Essentially what these tournaments mean is it goes by your earnings and your placings on Modern Warfare, right? So on their website, on Modern Warfare, in that game title, whatever you've done will determine if you're a Novice, Amateur, or Pro, and they are releasing tournaments for those sort of ranks. So it just separates. So like if you in the chat want to play a tournament, you're in a Novice tournament rather than a Pro tournament. So it kind of separates the community a little bit. And I don't really like it. As a player who, just likes to enter a tournament and get in a tournament with a bunch of teams, and maybe you discover people when you play against these guys. If you're not playing against them, you discover them, and I don't know. I just don't think it's the way to get the search community going. Adding more tournaments and like almost being invite only. I just don't think that that's the way to rally the search community together, because you just put a huge roadblock in people in between the community.
I mean, what they've essentially done is created almost like a participation trophy system, right? Like, if you're gonna enter these tournaments, you should be fully aware that you can play anyone and everyone in any given tournament. And so what they're doing is saying, like, we don't want you to have to play against formal at these tournaments if you're a noob, right? You just play against other novice or amateur players on paper, but you're actually just removing like what is the core of competition. Why are you giving away not free wins in particular, but like as a competitor, your goal should be, I want to beat whoever the hell is in front of me, and I want to be the best.
Absolutely. If you
Why would
aren't good
you?
enough to
I
win a
don't. I
tournament,
don't understand
you shouldn't be able to win.
removing that and adding a barrier, and especially for the top players. Now there's just less of them to play. So you're saying you can only play against other top echelon players. I mean, they're used to that; they expect it. But you're also removing the lower players of the tournament, because why would they play the upper echelon tournaments if they can play the novice tournaments?
Yeah.
And now their tournaments are harder to win. I wouldn't even enter those tournaments.
And also, let's be honest, like what he just said in the chat, Exotic, anybody can make a Smurf account and literally get free cash. If you're like a really good search and destroy player that's not super known, how easy would it be to just log into somebody's account and go play a tournament and just run these guys' pockets? You know what I mean? Like
I think Game Battles actually ran into that issue before when they started like the amateur tournaments.
Skill-based matchmaking in competitive, it doesn't work. It will never work because of that. Online tournaments, it's too easy to do that. There's just a major issue, man. Like, these guys are still going to be playing against people who are pretty good, because they're going to be on their accounts trying to make cash. It's not a good plan. I don't.
It has never worked and it will never work. And I don't understand as a competitor why you'd even want that. Now I know they're saying like if you are a novice player and you just want to have fun entering these tournaments, there's other ways to play and learn and get better. You don't have to enter tournaments. Tournaments are kind of expensive if you enter a bunch of them. You can
Hey,
always
hold
play
on.
free game battles matches, free CMG matches, dollar wagers,
Yeah,
and
and
like
hey,
play against whoever. There's ways to play without it being a tournament.
hey, the wagers, yeah, that's the way you can do it. But also, man, I didn't mind the every so often having an amateur tournament, but like having these consistent, like pro 3v3, amateur 3v3, like and the amateur tournaments having such bigger prize pools as well is just toxic. Like if you can make it combine it all into one, right, and you just have less tournaments, you'll get all these people to sign up regardless, right? So yeah, and there's people who don't agree with us because if you go to this page, um, on the Reddit, like this has a bunch of rewards. Like this guy was saying that he likes the new plan. So obviously, we're not going to agree with everyone, but I know there's some fans and maybe some of you guys in the chat can give us your opinion on this. If you like the novice, amateur, and pro tournaments.
Listen, what's gonna happen is guys like this, like no offense to this guy, but they're gonna like the new plan. But as soon as they get cheated, what's gonna happen is
Yep,
they're
fair.
gonna lose to like ex S&D player. Like there's always gonna be like those 14-year-old, 15-year-old S&D players that are up and coming. They're gonna hop on someone else's account. They're gonna
Yeah,
get found out, and those guys are gonna lose and be like, "Where's I want my money back?" They're
that
not
is
gonna
the
get their
biggest
money
problem
back.
with it, and
That
there's no
always
way around
happens.
it. There's no way around
That
it.
always happens.
There's no way around it, guys. In theory, it's pretty cool. In theory, if like all the good players signed up for the pro tournaments and all the AM players signed up for the AM tournaments, it would be cool. However, it will never work like that. Somebody would just ring, and it's pretty much over from there. But yeah, I see Pharaoh in the chat. I mean, he's embedded in the search community. He's like been in there forever. And wait, why did it just pull my screen up? Hold on, guys. Let me fix this real quick. You turn your camera off, John? Whoa, I think he just lagged out, guys. Hold on. Give me one moment. Remove this. Let me get him back in the call, guys. Apologies. You guys can ask me some questions in the chat while I get him loaded back in here. Type in the chat if you can hear me, John. You should never split the competition like that. SB, and ranked play is fine, but a genuine split between tournaments would never work. Oh, 100% agree, Trey. I 100% agree. I think Pac-Man got fried offline, guys, so we're just going to rock out and wait for him. So you guys can throw me some message in the chat. Do you think there will be a rank play? I think at some point in this game they will release a rank play. I think that they're going to need to. Just like pubs are just unbearable at this point. So if they release some sort of skill-based rank play, I mean, I think World War II's rank play was incredible. So if they can do something close to that in this game, it would be great. Because pubs are essentially like unplayable with all this stuff in this game. Will you be casting this year? Who knows? Hey, who knows? Hey. Oh, let's see. He's calling it back. Let's see. Yo, can you hear me?
Hello, hello, hello.
What's up?
Sorry about that.
You're good. Did you get fried?
Internet just, yeah, I don't know what happened.
All good. All good. We're back in business.
This guy said crucified Pac-Man for exposing his screams.
Hey guys, this is what happens.
Where do we leave off?
This is what happens when you operate a podcast out of your bedrooms. There's gonna be technical difficulties, but I appreciate you guys continuing to rock with us. We were just finishing up talking about the CMG tournament stuff, and we were moving on. We were getting ready to move on. We were taking some stuff from the chat, so I'm gonna go scroll back through the chat and reply to a couple things real quick. Gotcha. I muted the Discord.
All right. Perfect.
Sorry, guys. Thoughts on MW? Okay, we'll answer questions later. If you guys had anything to say directly about the CMG stuff, we would have talked about it. Okay, let's move on. All right, so there was also some drama in announcing after the New York subliners announced their new substitute player happy to their team. There was an eruption of just pros and amateur players tweeting out back and forth. A lot of people voicing their opinion on friendships and networking and stuff like that in Call of Duty. I have a firm stance on this topic, and my stance is you need to go out there and network. Like, what do you think? Like, so one, most of these guys are similar in skill level, right? Most of them are similar in skill level. If you have a friend who is like solid, right, and can fill in for a match and he'll go 110 for you, and you get along with him and you can talk to him and he's going to be there to help your team at any moment, why would you not pick him up as a sub if he's capable as well, right? Like, especially if like the skill levels are comparable, you know what I mean? So networking has always been around in any business ever. I saw Clay tweet about the networking thing, and he's right, 100% right. People are going to put their friends on. That's how the world works. How are you angry about that?
Huge issue what happened to Suda or Happy Suda directly. So it was Pentagram from Team UIU. So they've had like a lot of steam at the early part of the game, right? They've been a pretty good AM team, blah blah blah. So he sees that Suda has been announced the sub of the subliners, right? One of the two subs along with Sensor. He attacks Suda directly. Now,
yeah,
Suda's a guy who has been pro in multiple games, and he's also good friends with a couple people on the team. Now, Suda's a very good player. Like, he really is. He's a very good player.
Good at this game.
And he's friends, so that's where the issue comes in, right? Because he is friends with Donnie and Lamar, that's like his son or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where the issue comes in. Like, this guy's getting the free 15,000 points and the 50K. Now, like Ant just said, if they're comparable players, which they easily are. Like, if you would ask me who I would take on my team, Pentagram or Suda, I would take Suda without question.
Without question. So far, all we've seen is online play out of Pentagram.
Right. Exactly.
I mean, he's done well in some of the AM tournaments.
Happy is also good, and to say like you haven't seen him since Black Ops 3 or whatever, that's also fugazi. You also saw him in the Pro League in those games. In Advanced Warfare, in the Pro League. You've never seen Pentagram compete on a pro level. He's been on a good AM team at the start of this game. But it is the start of a game that, we just talked about it, has a lot of glitches and stuff like that. Pentagram attacks Suda, and then obviously the rest of the community has their say on the situation. Some people saying like, yeah, it's messed up that friends are being chosen as subs. So here's what the thing. I ask people, I'm going to challenge you. Who is this guy out there, this player that's not a sub that should be?
You tweeted out.
I tweeted out, and I got like 150 answers. And you know what? Not one of them was anyone on that UIU team. Not one. Not one. And that's been considered the best AM team at the start of the game. You know who was often a common answer and who I agree with is Nagafin. Nagafin was just on a team that placed second place at back-to-back events. This guy's been a pro for years. Second place at champs, third place at champs. That was the only answer that I saw that I agreed with. Is that somehow, some way, Nagafin should have one of these sub spots.
Yeah,
Other than that,
Naga and Space.
Yeah, Space is a good answer.
Space almost had a sub spot somewhere.
Right, Space almost had a sub spot. That's like some behind-the-scenes stuff happened with him.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, every other answer,
like
you can
John
easily say, yeah, John has his own situation, which I mean, there's a lot of rumors about, but clearly John would be a starter without extenuating circumstances. And Pharaoh, right? And Pharaoh, but that also he was very public with what happened with him.
We're getting bad lag right now on the stream.
Are we?
We're getting like hit off.
Is it lagging too bad to continue?
I think it's gonna come back. Yeah, we're just dropping frames and then we're coming back. We're good. Let's just this is laid back podcast, right? Let me just ask the chat, make sure it's good. Stream all good or lagging? That dropped 3,000 frames. But it's good now. So back on topic to, the whole sub thing. Yeah, there's not any players who should be subs that, aren't subs right now outside of maybe like two people. And they had, one of them had an opportunity. There's some behind the scenes stuff.
Let's bring up like specific people, because I know like Parasite's very vocal. He has a huge following, a lot of support on like Reddit and stuff. Now Parasite, like if we're just gonna be 100 honest, if you just take his ability, he probably should be a sub, right? He's like at this point in his career, maybe a lower echelon pro, or definitely one of like the best amateur players. But Parasite is also a guy who's burned like every bridge imaginable with the players that are professional players right now. So if the guys on those teams have players that are like even close to as good as Parasite, these guys would easily take the other guy over Parasite because they have no issue with that guy, or as opposed to Parasite, they may have issues with in the past. You
Hmm.
have to understand that in networking, in life, in any walk of life, networking is completely valid, like important. It's huge. Why would you ever? The only reason that someone gets taken over someone else is if they are undeniably better.
Yeah.
And if you can't tell me that someone is undeniably better than the next guy, and you're friends with that guy, and you're like you have a rapport with that guy, you have chemistry with that guy, there's no reason you would take the second guy, even if he was slightly better in whoever's estimation. There's no way to even tell that. Like Ant said, pretty much everyone of those top AM players are around the same skill level.
Yeah, and to those AMs, what I would say is rather than voicing, your frustration or whatever to Twitter, go out there and earn it. Become undeniable, right? Like go out there, earn it, become undeniable, keep frying, keep playing well. A lot of these subs really won't even get to. A lot of them won't like be playing that much, right? Like a lot of them have no chance of being on that starting roster. So go out there and prove it and play your heart out and become undeniable, and then they'll have to pick you up. So I just don't understand what complaining, what that gets you, right? Like complaining about people picking up their friends, it's not going to get you anywhere. It's not going to get you on a roster. Nobody's going to see that and feel bad for you and pick you up, right? It's not going to change the fact. So I just think that it's kind of like petty, and that's something that they shouldn't really be complaining about.
I
But
believe.
on top of that,
Go ahead.
I did find this hilarious. All right, boys, I'm filling out my application for CDL free 50K come best friend application. As long as you get some memes out of it, it's fine by me.
Yeah, but I mean it's like a serious thing in terms of like it being part of people's lives, but
Yeah.
I mean those memes are hilarious. But like I saw Looney tweet about something like, yeah, and if it was your friend in the same situation, you would 100% pick him up, and people were attacking him for it, or like saying like, you see, that's the problem, without ever having been in like even a similar situation. Everyone in the world would pick up their friend in a spot where it's like where the other guy is almost as good or equally as good. You'd
Hmm.
obviously pick your friend. So if I knew somebody for years upon years, if I knew Nameless, I know Nameless for 15 years.
You know what I'm capable of.
Yeah, if there's another guy whose name is X and I've never talked to him and he's equally as good as Nameless and I didn't pick up Nameless, Nameless should beat my ass.
Yeah,
If it
100%.
could
I'd
cost
swing on
him
you for
fifty
sure.
thousand dollars and all that, like why did you pick that guy? Like if that guy was undeniably better than Nameless and I picked that other guy up, Nameless would understand. He'd be like, all right, well, that guy's nasty. But if that guy's equally as good as him and I don't pick him up, what the hell am I
I mean,
doing?
that's
Like,
blatant
what is the purpose?
disrespect. One,
That's
two,
life.
like
That's
you
how
know what
life
I'm capable
works.
of. Like that's just life, right? Like you're gonna help your friends out a little bit, and two, like especially if they're close in skill, it's a no brainer. I cannot believe people are getting mad about that, and I can't believe some of the fans are even on that other side of the coin. It's just it blows my mind, right? So I just thought we should talk about it a little bit and address it, and give our stance because it's pretty crazy, dude. Like this, like Clay's tweet is spot on point. This is exactly how life works, and it's hilarious. But okay, let's move on to the next topic. And I know we're experiencing terrible lag today, guys. I don't know what's happening. My internet should be fine. However, I'm recording everything, and it will be uploaded to YouTube after. So if you miss any parts, whatever you missed will be on YouTube. Sorry, guys. Um, but let's move on to the next topic. So the path to pro system. There's a lot of drama with that this week as well. Spencer, player relations manager, tweet out some stuff. The messenger, I should say. Spencer's a great person. Love this guy. Um, any player signed a CDL roster as a player was awarded a challenger point bonus today. They should post your account by 6 a.m. East on Saturday. The points will be reflected in the NA and EU 2K seeds. The two-way academy affiliate system is designed to benefit amateur players by bringing more investment and support from orgs into amateur challenger system. Excuse me. Currently, less than 3% of pro players are eligible to participate in this. As a max of two-way players can be on an academy affiliate roster, and the team itself must be formed. It also works the other way in that this system allows more amateur players to be picked up more easily to pro teams and drives more interest from outside sponsors and orgs. That is true. Um, I just think a lot of people didn't know this, and it was like news to them, and they formed their teams prior to knowing this information, which created sort of an outcry in the community because these pro points they're pretty important for the path to pro system, right? That's your seed going into the open tournament. So I can understand why they're frustrated.
I can understand that too in terms of seeding, but Honestly, if you're just a better open team, the seeds really won't matter that much. I
Yeah,
think
it's
that
true.
it's a combination of that not knowing this ahead of time and the money that they know that the subs are guaranteed to get.
Hmm.
It's like just the combination of all those things that they're not getting, they feel just human nature, maybe a little bit jealous, left out of like this little bit of loop.
And I think it's the amount
But
of points too. I think it's something like 15,000.
15,000 is a ridiculous amount of points just to
That's a
hand out.
lot, man. That's a
Ridiculous
lot
amount
to
of
hand
points to
out.
hand out.
Like,
So
dude.
that's why players are upset. And I do understand that part of the players. They're upset about the points. Why does this guy get 15,000 points? What did he do? Get picked
Mhm.
up. That's nah. Okay. And $50,000? You're just like, what? Like, I
Yeah,
get that. I get that.
I think
That's
that
human
plays
nature.
hand in hand with the people complaining, um, the people complaining about the people picking up their friends. But yeah,
And then it's like the top 10 AM teams get funded to the opens or whatever, right? I believe that's the rule, which is
hmm,
causing people to freak out because it's like, if I don't have any of these subs on my team, all they have to do is like decently place in the 2Ks and we can't catch up.
yeah. I mean, like I said, I don't think it's. I think it was the amount they gave them. Maybe it was a little bit too much, and like the transparency was a little bit too late. Um, but yeah, that's why those guys were frustrated. Because at a 2K series, you get 2K each. Like, wait, what did Philip Post say in the chat? Who gets 50,000 points in 50K?
It's
Oh,
fifteen
it's
thousand
15,000 points
fifteen
that you're
thousand
talking
pro
about.
points, but if you win a 2K, you get 2,000 points.
Yeah.
so, so, so 15,000 is a lot of points, and it's like it's a
It
ridiculous
just affects their
advantage.
seed for those open tournaments, which affects their entire year, which is tough. Um, and they weren't taking that into account when they formed their rosters. But either way, you should just make the best team you can and go out there and perform the best you can. I mean, honestly, it's not going to screw you over that bad. If you have like a decent seed, you'll be all right. So it's just once again just something people are complaining about. But
Also, isn't there's something about if you are a sub player, you have to play with one your team's academy team,
yeah,
which doesn't exist right now. There is not a single one of them, or your team, the whatever franchise you're with, has to affiliate with another team. So
that
like
is the
the Los Angeles Guerrillas would have to affiliate with UIU, like for that team to go if they had the subs. Like two of the whoever the subs are for the Los Angeles Guerrillas would have to be on that team and they'd have to affiliate.
yeah.
Right now, there are none of those teams. So right now, technically,
It's
people are
not really
just
affecting
complaining
them.
to be complaining. It's not really affecting them, but there's a. I mean, eventually there'll probably be a world where it
what
does
what
affect
it
them.
does is
But
it gives those players power to like take players from certain teams. You know what I mean? Like, come team with me. I have these extra pro points. Like, it just creates a kind of like a weird dynamic, and that's why people are sort of mad. You know, it just gives people power in a place where they really didn't have power, and if they
yeah,
already feel like people are picking up their friends, that's why they're frustrated. So I understand. I just don't think it's that big of a deal. But here's the kind of the point spread for those of you who didn't know. It's 2,000 for those challenger tournaments, preseason tournaments, regular season 1,000 series events, launch weekend and midseason weekend are 25,000, and then the championship weekend is 50,000 points. So as you can see, like that's their livelihood. That's where they're like going to make money and stuff. So if their seed isn't, if somebody is getting a better seed just because they're a sub, you could see why they would be frustrated. All right. But speaking about the Path to Pro system, we released a community question this week, as we do every week. And the community question was, you are the head of the Call of Duty League. What changes would you make to the Path to Pro system? Um, so we're going to go through some of these questions. But before we do, what change would you make, John?
um, for me, one, I would for sure get rid of the number of points that I gave. I understand actually why they gave
Yeah.
subs points, but I would definitely lower that number to something that's something where you can form a team without those guys and pass those guys if you're on way better teams, for sure. And like I think I would give them something more solid to play in than a 2K. I feel like 2Ks are a
Be
little
a
bit
bigger tournament.
fluky.
That's what I was going
Yeah,
to say.
maybe a bigger tournament. And because fluke the way with 2Ks, the way they happen oftentimes is the first one is so important and determines your seed. Like you end up running into the same teams over and over and over again. And sometimes maybe that team is just better than your team, but that doesn't mean these other teams are better than you. And 2Ks can be a little bit fluky. I know
So
like
I would have
certain people.
stricter.
Go ahead.
I just want to play off what you just said. One, I would do the same thing with the tournaments. I'd have less tournaments. There'd be more points involved, and they'd be a bigger sort of event, and they'd happen over the course of maybe 2 weekends. And then also, I'd have stricter roster rules for these guys. I don't think I wouldn't allow players to change rosters as often, so they have to pick a team and stick with it. And that also kind of eliminates the whole like player on a academy team gaining that power from having those extra points if you have stricter roster rules. So I think that's something that could have been addressed. But other than that, I think that the challenger system was actually pretty solid. I don't really hate a lot of the rules. Just maybe the amount of points that they handed out. And in a perfect world, obviously what I'm saying would be fantastic. But there are things that hold them back from doing things like that.
I think that adding to the exclusivity of an amateur league makes it better too. And by
Yeah.
that I mean like it should be harder to play against even the top AMs. So
Yeah.
in pretty much every game, League of Legends, Counter Strike, whatever it is, they have like so League of Legends is the challenger system. Overwatch has that as well, like the Challenger League or whatever. Um, Counter Strike has Mountain Dew League, the MDL, and you have to qualify. There's levels to get just to the level to be even before you're a pro. Like so, I think that the team with like Parasite on it and Pentagram, they should be in like the Challenger League, and it should be hard to get to be able to play those guys, so that when you win that kind of league, you are looked at more seriously. So even though you're considered the best AM team right now or whatever, you're kind of beating up on a bunch of bums. Like, and pro teams don't necessarily take you that serious. Like some of them, they'll be like, yeah, that is a good AM team, but they're never in fear of you beating them, and realistically, they're not looking to pick you up.
Yeah.
And I think that making that a more valid experience would help those guys become pros eventually.
I agree. It could work. I also want to address something that was put in the chat. Subs shouldn't be allowed to play in Path to Pro, in my opinion. What is your take on that? Actually, not really
Ah,
totally against that. I guess I'd have to give it a little bit more thought.
I
But
think in order for that to be the case, they need something more fleshed out for subs to do. Because then what
yeah.
can? So you're just saying subs can't do anything. Like they're not
Well,
starters.
other than
So,
sub in for a match and make a
but
salary from the team that they're playing
who
for.
would sub in a guy for a match that hasn't been playing? The
Yeah,
guy
I
hasn't
mean
scrimmed
it's
anything.
tough.
If he can't play on path to pro teams, what? How does he get better?
It's just kind of weird wordage. Like you're on a pro team, so you are a pro. You're just a sub, and then you're playing the path to pro. So I can see where people are coming from with that. But then on the flip side of that coin, subs just become sort of irrelevant in everything. Um, I don't disagree. I don't totally disagree with Knowles though for saying that. Honestly, I mean, it would eliminate a lot of the problems that they're having right now in terms of community outcry.
Yeah, it would get rid of
Seriously.
him. I mean, people would still be upset because that guy's still getting $50,000, but now he's getting fifty
But
thousand
but
dollars
but
from
he's like
nothing.
he's your safety net. Like if somebody can't play or somebody goes renegade, like he comes in and he
I
plays.
I guess, but in the history of COD, how many times has
Bench
like
is a bench.
I
He's right.
think
He's
I
right.
think one time someone couldn't play, and that was Priesta when he got sick, and then one other time I believe Gumless sat himself out on E United. Other than that, I can't think of any time where you would need a safety net.
I'm actually not sure how it exactly works, but if you do have an affiliate, team and you allow your sub to play for it, like I wonder how that work. Like, can you just bring him back and put him in for a match if somebody needs to sit out? Like, are you familiar with the rules in that?
I think. Oh, so I just know that if you play two matches as a sub player, you can't play Path to Pro anymore.
Okay, that's good. That's a good rule.
Yeah,
That's a great rule,
so
actually.
I believe that's what it is.
Oh, so John,
Uh,
you cannot. All right. So if you let him go play, he can't come back and sub in. Is that
Wait,
what
if
you're
you let him go
saying?
play what?
You cannot act as a sub and compete in the challengers at the same event. Okay. All right.
Oh, at the
That's
same
that's good.
event. At
At
the
the
same
same
event.
event.
Okay, okay, that makes sense.
At the
And
same event.
I mean, how
Nah,
often does
nah.
that happen?
That was a good workaround with that one, wasn't it?
I mean, doesn't that kind of make your subs invalid? Most of your subs are going to be at the event, right? And they're going to be playing. Unless you say you're not allowed to play
Yeah.
at this one and you're not allowed to play at the next one. They're both going to be playing, and say like a priestess situation happens and Slasher just
You
starts
just have
throwing
to
up.
have one sub
Now
that's
their subs
chilling.
can't play.
You just have to have one sub that's
I would
chilling.
be. I mean, okay.
All right. Let's see what some of these guys have to say. BZ, Path to Pro, a format where players have completed their Path to Pro, but still get a safety net. All right. Top comment. You have anything to say to that?
Wait, what was it?
BZ says it's not even really a question. You just put like a statement, like a salty statement.
What did he say?
Path
Read
to
it again.
Pro, a format where players have completed their Path to Pro, but still get a safety net.
At the
I'm not even sure if I really get what
he's just saying what you were saying.
Yeah.
So you're a pro technically because you're getting paid to play, but you still get to act as as an AM and play. I don't know. He just
Uh,
that.
yeah, he's kind of saying what I'm saying, but he said it like
Yeah,
in a super salty way.
yeah. He's saying it in a salty way, and that's because he's not a sub. So
Well,
I
go out
mean,
there and earn it, man. Become
that's the
undeniable.
thing. If you become undeniable and earn it, that's fine. Or I mean, obviously, if you put yourself in the right circle with people that are pros, but you just couldn't make it on the team, that's great too. Have you? Can you honestly
Whoa.
look in the mirror and
Hold
say
on.
that you've
This
done
is
that?
this is pretty insane.
No.
I would like to see a way to let two Path to Pro teams qualify for playoffs. No chance.
No.
No way.
How? No. No. No.
After
No.
franchise pay the amount to get in there, Path to Pro team comes. No way. Most likely they would show up and not do much, but you never know. And no, that should not. No, that is,
That's a non-starter.
yeah, it's a
Like,
non-starter. We don't even entertain that.
I
No,
have to read the chat from Chip Yucks.
go ahead.
Like, would you rather let Tiny play in a P2P or keep him on as a sub that weekend to give the S&D a different look? Um, so I
Develop
get what
him.
you're
Let him
saying.
play in the Path to
I get
Pro.
what you're saying, but I don't think Tiny's ever been to a tournament, has he?
Yeah, I think he has.
Has he?
Actually. Yeah, he was
Well,
actually at the tournament last year.
okay. Well, either way, I definitely would rather let that kid grow as a player and play as many tournament matches as possible
That's the cool
before
thing
I
about
want him to sub
challengers,
for my team.
right? That's where you can develop your sub. I guess if you're going to allow sub players to play, that's where you can develop new talent over time, and that's how players will get a lot better. So that's the cool thing about that. So you definitely, if you have Tiny on your team, you let him play. You definitely let him play.
Also, by the way, just bringing in one player that's good at S&D, like I don't know why people think that way, but if your team's not good at S&D, you could bring in like literally Jesus Christ, and your team still won't be good at S&D. The team has to be good at S&D, not just like, oh, here's this guy who
And the
knows
only
how to
way
play
you're
S&D
instantly getting
tournaments,
better
and you
at
bring him in.
search is if you're pick me up to your team, and then you're
All
instantly
right.
getting better at S&D. Okay, would you rather fight 5 simp-sized sensors or 1 sensor-sized simp?
What?
I don't know.
I don't even know what that means.
I'd
What?
rather fight 1 sensor-sized simp for sure.
I'd always rather fight one than five.
Yeah. Simp is not that small, dude. If there was 5 simps charging me, I'd be. I'd get fucked up, but I'd come out victorious for sure. Like, I'd have
Five
bite
Sims would
marks.
actually beat your ass. There's
I'd
no
have
way.
bite marks and like scratches, but I'd come out victorious. All right, but anyways, Rice Squad moves on to say, for Path to Pro, probably would never work. No, I like how he starts his question. For Path to Pro, probably would never work, but it'd be interesting to add like a promotion and relegation system like they do in football, soccer. The bottom team in the league would be able to keep 1 or 2 players of their choice from the original team, but have to drop the rest of their team and then pick up the team that won the P2P league. It's different now, man.
That's way different.
These teams are companies, right? Like,
Yeah.
you're not telling a company what to do, with the people that are representing their brand. Like, let's say the subliners get sponsored by Nike, right? And Zuma signs a 3-year contract with the subliners, and first year Zuma's great. He's nasty, fantastic, and I'm just using Zuma's name just because. And the next year he's not good at all, and they get relegated in your system. But he has some of the best fans in the world, and he's had 9 great seasons, but he just had a shitty one. And he has to get dropped. Your number 1 Nike jersey seller has to get dropped. Not happening, dude. So that's why this can't work. That right there. That's unspeakable, but I like how you said probably would never work.
Yeah. It can't work. You can't force people to pick people up. That's just not how it goes. But I mean, I get what you're saying. I think that's like a common thing that has been a thing in the past, like a relegation type system, a way to
We've
work
had
your
that
way
for a
into
while.
being a pro. But now that it's franchised, like the Browns, let's take the Browns in the NFL for example. If you're like European, the Browns went 0-16, which is as bad as you can do. Like that is horrible.
Shout out Browns fans in
There's
the chat,
there was
baby.
no what happens is those players get cut. Like you try to form a better team, but the Browns are still there. You're not just relegating people and things like. We're gonna try to make our team better, but you can't force them to do anything.
Yeah.
They're spending money on these guys. Like a lot of money is being spent around, and
They
you
have a
just
plan.
can't tell them what to
They
do.
can
Yeah,
double
they have a
down on
plan.
their plan even if it's not working out. Like, we're gonna be shit for 2 years, but then we're gonna be able to throw the bag on the 3rd year. You know what I mean?
All right. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna keep this shitter around because he's cheap.
Yeah.
But as soon as that guy's a free agent, we're throwing him the bag and
Yeah.
having him come play for the fucking Browns. And then they got fucking Baker Mayfield and Odell Beckham Jr. and they still suck.
6-year 23 says, I'd make it so each team has to have an academy team so no subs get screwed out of a chance to play in the season Example, General and Blast. In an ideal world, right? That'd be fantastic. No, I have much to say to that. I mean, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Be cool.
Uh, yeah, that would be cool.
Your thoughts on the price of the tickets for these league matches? Sheesh, I think I did see one of them where it was like, was it $40, $40, and then another $50. Hey, if you want to watch your favorite teams play, you can get those dang tickets.
40
But
bucks isn't that much.
no, it was $50. No, no, it's not. It's not that. I didn't say that in part of it. Sorry, it was $50 like convenience fee or what was it? It was like a venue fee or something. Like it was an extra. It was like the price of another ticket. That was kind of tough. But hey, man,
I mean, that's tough.
that
I
is
don't
just
know.
this is unfortunate.
I think. I mean, what they're
digress.
trying to do, what they're clearly trying to do with the league, is turn it into a
An
like a
event,
sports type of
sporting
thing,
event.
an event. So events costs, right? And if you want it to be cool, you want it to be huge, you want all these things to happen, they have to make money somewhere.
Yeah,
Two,
and,
two
and you got to
fifty.
remember, like these guys, like these teams are. It's gonna be these things are gonna be pretty big, man. They're gonna be entertaining. They're gonna be fun. I I would personally pay it if I was going to watch some of my favorite teams play. Benson has a question in the chat. When you paying me my blackout money? Am I right at Pac
That's a
Man?
question for you, Ant.
What are you talking about, Ben? Blackout cash. Hey, checkmates. You're in the chat, and you've never been to an event, probably, huh? Have you ever been to an event? Events
In the
are
chat,
amazing.
Checkmate said 250 to watch 5 series. LOL joke. All right, that's one way to look at it. But
Oh.
if have you ever, yeah, have you ever been around to watch your favorite players play and been like up close and been able to cheer with the crowd and get involved? It can be a lot of fun, man.
Yeah,
I don't know.
can be a lot of fun. I don't know. I wouldn't complain about it, but then again, I can understand why some people would. But remember, you can always just watch for free on Twitch as well. So it's like if you don't got it, watch online. Next question is implement a system where the top four Path to Pro teams qualify for both tourneys. And this is Path to Pro isn't complete until the top Path to Pro players actually face off versus the pros, right? Um,
Implement a system where the top four qualify for both tourneys. That'll never happen.
yeah,
That's like saying a college football team that's at the end of the road can play can play the Patriots now.
yeah. I
Like
don't.
that's not how it works.
Yeah,
It's just
like
not how it works. It's
the
two different
college
entities
pro
completely.
or college football is the path to pro. You know what I mean? Like that's what that is. They don't get to go play against the NFL team. I don't know. I don't agree with that system or that thought process. Plus, they would get absolutely destroyed.
Yeah,
Uh,
they would. You got to think
by most
all
teams.
the money in like there's coaches and analysts and all this stuff that goes into being on a pro team nowadays just to go up against any AM team who's mostly just been scrimming against other amateur teams. They're gonna get destroyed, and that's been evident by the history of Call of Duty. Maybe every once in a while you see a team that like creates an upset or something like that, but in general they get destroyed. Like that happened to I want to say like GGEA Orange back in the day. They used to
Yeah.
make it through open bracket pretty much every time, and then finish top 20, top 24. They just couldn't compete against the pros.
So COD Doc says, can we take Path to Pro seriously as a talent farming operation if it will be heavily online based? In a game with as fast time to kill as COD, connection differences are really considerable. You bring up a great point, but I do think we could take it. We could take it serious for sure. Um, but yeah, you're really gonna learn who's very good when it gets to the LAN tournaments. I think you take online with a grain of salt. I think the biggest thing with online is consistency. If there's a team that's consistently playing well or a player that's consistently playing well throughout the entire year online, then yeah, um, he's probably pretty good. History's proven to be like that in COD. And if he goes to LAN and he also just lights it up on LAN, but he's not very good online, like he's probably a solid player. So yeah, I think you can take it serious. I think that we'll learn a lot about some of the amateur players this year when we get to the big open tournaments.
This guy said UIU greater than Paris and Gorillas. I don't know how you say that, and that's also disrespectful to those guys.
Yeah, it is.
Like
You're talking about world champions, dude.
you're talking about, well, one team Gorillas hasn't even scrimmed yet, so you don't know what it's gonna be like when they form. But even when they do play, like Saints and UE, these guys have been placing at like pretty decently for years. Even when they're not placing the best, they're still getting like eighth place. So that's still
Yeah,
way better than what
that's such
UIU has done.
disrespect.
That's extremely disrespectful. Pairs like Zed, uh, Zed Dins, Kismet. That he just got fourth at the last event. Like you can't just disrespect these guys. Even if we put them at the bottom of the pro list, they're still the pro teams for a reason. You can't just disrespect them like that.
As for Path to Pro, subs should be able to compete in AM tourneys, but they can't earn challenger points.
As for they should be able to compete in sub tourneys, but they can't add. So you're saying they should just have last seed?
Yeah, so that essentially at every open tournament they have last seed because you got to remember these subs are actually like competing in the Path to Pro tournaments, so they have to bring some sort of value when it comes to the points. Like
that wouldn't work. Plus,
yeah.
you would if you were a top amateur team, you wouldn't want the subs to have 0 points anyways.
Yeah.
Because in the early rounds, you'd be playing against them.
Yeah.
And no matter what they say it's friends, blah blah blah. But you don't want to go up against a team with 2 subs in the first round. Most of the subs in the league are pretty good. You don't want to play like Bance in the first round.
You want to elaborate on this guy's question? He goes, Pac-Man mentioned last week on Twitter that he thought headquarters could work competitively in this game. No.
I mean, I do think that headquarters could work competitively in the game, more so than Hardpoint in its current state because of the spawns. Like the spawns in Hardpoint, when you play it, there's so many times where you just actually can't break the hill at all. And I think in headquarters, when you kill people away, like off, when you kill them off, they don't respawn, which helps you break the hill. Like a lot of the times when you do get those really important kills, they spawn right behind you.
Yeah.
And they kill you. So that important kill you got meant absolutely nothing. Whereas in headquarters, maybe it would mean something and it would work out. That's why I think that.
Should I even entertain the not Path to Pro related question? I want to because I see I'm an idiot. Yeah.
Go ahead. Read it.
All right. So I'm not going to say the first part of that. Milkman. Not Path to Pro related. I'm an idiot saving this comment for another Codcast. Okay. Well, we're going to answer it anyways, buddy. If you're listening here. A few weeks ago, I made a comment in defense of JCap for the MW season. JCap was an assist machine throughout all of World War II and did well that season. I think him being poor at Black Ops 4 lowered his stock too much as it's such a different game. Interesting stats regarding KD and assist at 2 different events. Am I overrating his assists here? How much does it come down to having Octane/Formula on his team? JCap winning event stats in bagger play. I'm just going to read that. He dropped a .94 in respawn and a .69 in search and still won. He was 3rd in adjusted HP assist. One of LG's worst events. T8 dropped a 1.06 in respawn and a 1.1 in S&D. He was also 2nd in adjusted HP assist. I'm just going to sum this up in one sentence. You're looking way too much at stats, man.
Yeah, I mean, you can read off those stats quickly and say, like, in the first one where he's a .94 in the respawn and a .69 in search, that just means his teammates were playing a lot stronger around him. In the other one where he went positive in the respawn, 1.06, that means someone else on his team wasn't getting the kills that they normally get, and he was cleaning them up.
Yeah,
that's it. That's all that means.
And .94 to 1.06 is like.
It means he went. That means he probably got a kill more a map in a hard point and didn't die. Like he went +1 instead of -1. Those stats get blown out of proportion. Yeah. And also, I don't think that JCap was as bad at Black Ops 4 as Reddit and people make it seem to be. He did what he had to do for his teams. He got 2nd place with United before they started fighting. His team at Champs should have beaten the United, the team that won the tournament, but they choked. They were literally up like 246 to 170 to close it out. They choked. That does not come down to stats. That comes down to plays. You keep on defending JCap. Fight the good fight out there in the Reddit.
I mean, I will defend JCap to that at a time, man. He's one of the GOATs. He's a fantastic player, and he knows what he's
said I'm out.
He knows what he's doing, man.
Revan was sitting there watching the stream like, you can't be serious. You literally looking up in the sky, looking at the screen like, there's no fucking way. Rotate.
Well, listen, I played with Revan in some search tournament the other day, and he was cheeks. So... All right, Ali Kennedy goes, replace the pro point system with prize winnings. Well, wouldn't that just be fantastic? Have old school open events throughout the season combining Path to Pro franchises. That would also be fantastic.
Yeah, those things aren't going to happen.
I agree. I agree. I
mean, we did say that this person was the head of the CDL, right?
Yeah.
But then the people wouldn't put in $25 million to get a spot if that was the case.
Yeah.
So, but it's a good idea. It would be like an old school event.
I think we went through like the whole thread. All right. Well, I think we've covered the Path to Pro system stuff.
Which team would you coach and why? Oh, and which team would you coach and why?
Oh man, I don't know. Whoever paid me the most, I'd go in there and work my hardest. Somebody
I think that's
me.
how Revan chose New York.
Yeah.
They hit him up. They're like $700,000.
If you word that question differently, and you ask me which team would I like to coach if the money's the same.
Okay. Which team would you like to coach if the money is the same?
Then it would go by outside factors like where do I want to live, who do I want to work with, right? I mean, I'd like to go to California, Florida. This place is great. Chicago would be fantastic. I don't know. That's probably what I would pick. Those 3 destinations.
I think if I got to choose, I would pick Paris. I want to coach Paris. You know why? Because first of all, people expect that team to fucking suck. I get to live in Paris, and if they're good, I basically look like fucking Phil Jackson on a ringer. I'd be that guy.
Yeah,
if I got like Kismet a chip, do the impossible.
That would actually be elite.
If I did the impossible,
Toronto would be cool.
Toronto would be cool.
Stuff getting over there though. Sheesh.
Then I wouldn't know who the fuck to play. They have 17 people on their team.
Well, my first plan of action would be like, all right, listen, these 2 players will never play. All right? Path to pro, develop them in 3 years. We'll give them a chance. These guys, out of these 7, this is where we're going to decide who's going to play for our team. Right? Cali, Chicago, or Florida.
Wait. Let's talk about that though, real quick.
That'd be cool.
Out of the 10 Toronto players, who would you start if it was your team? We might agree.
Looney.
Oh, yeah.
Methods. Classic. Metals. Lucky.
So you're saying kick Brack to the curb. Mayhem, Methods, or Mayhem, Clean. Yeah, their team is deep. Mayhem, Kleenex, Cammy, some other people, bench.
Yeah, bench all those guys, yeah.
So
with Brack being the next man up.
Mine would be Looney, Methods, Classic, Metals, and Bance.
Faded.
What?
Bance hasn't been pretty. He hasn't been good in my opinion since Bops 3, dude.
Classic's not awful, bro. That's bullshit. He won a tournament last year. He's the only person that's won a tournament that's not a starter, I believe, in the last season.
Classic is not awful. Come on, man. Are you guys serious? You guys really think Classic is awful?
Wait, I think that Donnie just said the same exact list that I said. Metals, Classic, Looney, Bance, Methods. Yeah. And then I would keep Brack right there as my 6th man.
Yeah,
and Lucky.
Brack would be next up.
So like, between whoever was shitting my sheets, I'd be ready to put them in. They should actually hit my line. I heard Marky B's their coach, so they definitely need a new one.
Yeah, just put Marky B as assistant coach and put me as head coach, and I'll come there and fix everything. Or make Marky B my analyst.
What? What the hell? Never mind. Yeah, that's a good idea.
Hey, if anybody has a coaching offer, I'm here, man. Any GMs are in the chat, hook it up. No, I'm just playing. If you guys have any questions in the chat, you can throw it our way. Any questions at all, we'll answer them before
go ahead and throw
this episode.
How does Money Chin not get a spot? I believe that Money Chin does have a sub spot, by the way.
Yeah,
I just don't think that it's been announced yet, so just wait for that for him. No John questions. Krim said he couldn't team with Karma because salary caps, but Chicago and Optic both seemingly have expensive players. Was Krim just making excuses, or is he getting paid a super max? One, cannot talk about what people are getting paid because where there's no way for us to actually know. So we would just be giving you guys hearsay. Two, I assume the people on Optic, if you're talking about the LA Optic, are getting paid a lot.
Of course.
But if you pay, let's see, the salary cap is $1.5 million. All you have to do is keep those 5 starters under what, 1.4 million and 5,900 whatever.
Here.
And you can pick up 2 subs and you can fit it. They're making good cash, but you can still fit underneath the salary cap. TJ is getting the supermax. Apparently, Ken's getting the supermax. I don't know. Optic LA has been getting their cheeks clapped. They might need to give.
I saw a statistic. Their map count. Hold on. I saw a statistic.
Back.
It was a picture. It was 4 and 42 or something crazy. They're playing full series and not winning maps. They need the savior to come in. You know,
Are you the savior?
No, not me. I know who the savior is.
Yo, I saw a video where TJ, like I think Krim posted it, where TJ was getting literally world starred
Of course he is. TJ
every
can't take
life,
anything serious unless there's cash on the line.
literally smoked. I mean, they'll figure it out. Austin and Ken were getting smacked
Kenny
last year
goes,
too.
"Y'all funny."
You
Kenny's
remember
losing
that?
his mind. I seen him post an Instagram story last night singing some questionable songs. He was like,
Who?
"Don't judge me in this car late night cruising, regain drive."
He said he was getting headshot multiplied. Who has the biggest contracts? Not gonna say. Who do you think? Let's do it this way. Other than Scump should have the biggest contract in the league, which he probably does. Who do you think
He
should have the
deserves
biggest
it.
contract? Like just single person, just one person, just one
Formal
person.
Clay,
Formal Clay,
Grim. Those guys are all pretty good people to me. Karma.
Karma,
She brings you a
Karma.
lot of fans as well as skill.
Yeah, I know. There's a lot. There's a lot involved. I don't know. Who should have the next biggest contract
I think it's
after?
gotta be formal, man. Formal
I
and
would
Grim.
actually no bullshit after Seth, and yeah, probably formal. I think the biggest contract should probably go to Simp. I don't know who the hell's contract, where it went,
Yeah, he's up there. He's nasty, dude.
but like I think it should probably go to him. Whoever it went to, good for them.
Slasher's up there as well. He just doesn't bring as many fans.
Kenny said me. Kenny, but no bullshit.
Yeah.
If it was me, like if I was making a team, Kenny's a good place to start. Like if I was gonna pick a person to give the fucking Ultramax to, Kenny's a good place to start. He's good at
Yeah, he's
both.
one of
He's
those.
good at
He's on
both
the short
respawn and
list.
search. He's a smart guy. He's not afraid of anyone, which I think is important. And when I say not afraid of anyone, I mean like he actually believes he's better than fucking everybody, right? And that's fucking huge.
He's a good player. You can build a roster around Kenny. He's nasty,
Yeah.
and people want to play with him too. So yeah. So like, there's like a short list of like 10 players.
It definitely wasn't TJ.
No, no. Now that we've seen him play this game, if you asked me that a couple months ago, I said, "Yeah, TJ, man." Who?
Thoughts on Priesta being the
Yeah,
veteran for his
Priest
team?
up there.
I mean,
That team's nasty.
the team is really good, and I think that people overplay the whole like veteranship. Like Priesta maybe is the veteran of the team, but he's also been around for a really long time. Sim's been playing for a really long time. Abizi's been playing for a really long time. They have a really good core, and then they also have like Crowder there and a bunch of assistant coaches or whatever it
That
is.
Major Maniac guy's like a really good teammate as well.
Yeah, so they just have a really good team. I mean, I don't think there's an issue with him
Yeah,
being the
he's
veteran
nasty.
of the team. Do you think the contract
Honestly,
number
a
is
lot of
not
those
being?
players in that team conduct themselves like better than some of your staple pro players who've been playing for a while. Could you beat
Uh,
Pac-Man in a fight? Not even a question. Non-starter, absolutely.
yeah, sure. Do you think
Um,
contract numbers not being public are is good or bad? Honestly, until you start talking about millions of dollars, I think that their contract should be private.
I think it's okay that it's private right now. Yeah,
I
I
just think that
I
I
don't
just
think it'd
think
be
that in
healthy.
most walks of life, like, do you know how much the doctor makes at the doctor's office you go to, even though he's making a lot of money? No, you're just curious because it's like it's esports and it's different, and you've heard that these guys are making a lot of money, but it's their lives, right? Right? Their livelihoods. None of this should be private or public.
I don't think Counter Strike stuff is public, is it?
No, it's not.
I don't know. I
It's
don't know
not.
esports that have like public salaries until it's millions. It should
Until it's
not be public.
millions, it should like I heard like a couple League of Legends guys were getting $1 million contracts, and that's just awesome. Like good for those guys. But until it gets to that point, just let these guys live their life. Let them enjoy making their cash. If they want to tell you, they'll tell you, right? All they'll say is Supermax over and over and over and over.
Chogan, I'm pretty sure that's at the discretion of the team. I think a lot of people are signing maybe like
Could
1 year
you?
deals with like an option for another year.
Would you rather have Blast or Mutex as your sub? Blast.
Blast, unequivocally, absolutely blast. He's pro experience. He's been in the pro league before. He's played pro matches. He's won pro matches, and I think that they're just as good at search, if not blast is better.
I,
I would
I
definitely
like
pick blast.
I like this point that Shane's creation said. I think it being private is good. I feel like people knowing X teammate is making 50x more or 50k more than you would cause problems.
Yeah,
Now,
definitely.
within the
Same thing in
teams,
the
they
workplace.
probably know. By the way, most likely they know what their teammates are getting, and I just don't agree with that. So like,
I mean, that's just like a
if you
standard
know you're
rule
playing with
across.
somebody that's a supermax player, if you know you're playing with like if I have Kenny on my team and Kenny's like, "Yo, Pack, I want to pick you up." And Kenny's making $1 million and he's like, "We're going to give you $200,000. That's 5 times less." I'm like, "Kenny just won 5 championships. He's an MVP." Like, what? I'm with it. Like, pick me up. You don't see people complaining like LeBron makes $150 million. Why don't I make $150 million? It's because you're not LeBron. If the guy's better than you or has more of a history of being better than you, he's gonna make more money than you. That's it. Period. It's not
That's
that
just
big a
something you
deal.
just have to accept, and people
You have
do
to accept
accept
that.
that.
And
People
by
are
the way,
okay
that
with
also
that.
happens in life, in like pretty much all professions that start paying you more money. People that are better than you or been around longer than you or whatever the case may be,
Every
they're gonna
factor goes
make more
into
money than you.
experience, everything like that. That's just how the
Yeah,
world works.
it's not really that big a deal. Plus, in general, in most of those situations, everyone's getting paid different variations of a lot of money. So
Yeah.
you can be jealous if you want. Like if LeBron's making $150 million and you're making $3 million, you're still making $3 million. So you just kind of sound stupid complaining.
Hey Benji, you might have just got in here, but we addressed that earlier. What player that isn't on a team do you guys think deserves sub spot? I think it's Noggin Space. Outside of those players, can't think about anyone else. I think we'll take a couple like two more questions if you guys have any. DJ
T-
called out coaches in a tweet recently. What's your opinion on coaches and what exactly they do to help a team? Um, right now, coaches in COD, because there's like a lot of teams have a coach and an analyst, and what the analyst will do is provide stats from scrims, like KD over a certain period of online scrims, what they're winning, what they're losing, what they're good at, and the coach more so like pays attention to the mini map and is there to stop any sort of dilemmas that'll pop up during scrims and set the record straight. Like, hey, this actually happened and what you guys are talking about. Like, hey man, like you need like one-on-one talks with the team. He needs to be sort of like the guy to keep the team together in like those situations where it starts to get blown out of proportion. He's really like a moral coach.
well, here's the thing. In general, if you're playing the game nonstop, you're gonna know the game better than the coach. That's
Absolutely.
like, I mean, you're the one that's sitting there hours and hours playing and actually going through the motions of playing and nonstop. He said something like the coach's only job is to record the mini map or
That's
something
what
like that.
TJ said.
Yeah, TJ's also an idiot. So
Yeah. Yeah.
you gotta like take stuff that certain people say with a grain of salt. TJ is being emotional because his team was getting like absolutely body slammed on the map, right? So he'll get over it. And also, I don't, like what is. I'm just messing around. I actually love TJ a lot. He's a good kid. He just
He's definitely an
he
idiot.
just probably got smoked one day and got salty because a coach said something or something. I don't even know why he like went to Twitter to say that, but
A
who
coach
cares?
needs to understand the game like on a level close to the pros. Like he still needs to understand it. He needs to be able to have intellectual talks about the game with the players. So like he can't just not know anything. Like it's important to understand why a situation plays out like it does. And another thing is coaches have to be like super familiar with all the other teams as well and know what they're doing. And if another team's doing something that you're not doing, he has to be able to explain that to his team.
TJ said, "I respect coaches now." This guy, bro. See, look, TJ's very day by day.
Being a coach is like shouldn't be easy like right now in COD, especially with this game. It's definitely not easy. Um,
Coaches making way less money makes players not listen to them. Coaches have no pull in COD. Well, you do know that like in general in sports, coaches make less money than the players, right? The players are the ones playing. They're always gonna make less money. That doesn't mean that you don't listen to what they're saying. And most of what professional coaches do is give input and like guide,
imagine like a coach making as much as LeBron.
right? You just got the coach out there making 150 million. If I was a coach making 150 mil with LeBron, I wouldn't even show up to half the games.
Yeah, I'd be
It's like
yo,
what?
honestly, dude, we're cashing out. What you're doing? What? You want me to go back and watch film? They'd be a coach for 1 year, then they would quit. They'd be a coach for 1 year, then they quit. Dude.
What is your dark horse of the year? Rocker, Gorillas, and do you have a dark horse this year?
Uh, that can like, what do you define as dark horse? Like a team
It's
that's gonna be
it's
like
just
top
a
four.
team
That's
under
not
the radar that's gonna surprise people and get like top four,
probably
like be a top
Florida.
four.
Probably Mutineers.
Florida, I think you're
Wait, have they
faded.
announced their roster yet?
Yeah, they haven't. I'm not gonna go with them because I don't know their roster.
Not all. It's facts. That's facts.
My dark horse, I guess Toronto. right? I guess. Um, because we made lists before. I have 7 teams that I think that like could just be at the top, and I wouldn't put them in my dark horse. So Toronto, because they do have a big roster, and maybe we've been making fun of it a lot, but just maybe there's some weird formula in there with all 900 of their players, and it just works, and they're really good. They have a couple pieces that you know are good players, so maybe they can make a team that actually is, a top 4 team.
All right, well, with that being said, that's gonna do it for this week's episode of the Codcast, man. I appreciate you guys coming out. You guys are the shit, dude. You guys have been rocking out with us all month long. Makes it the 4th episode back that we've had, John, and I'm happy to say
Absolutely.
that we've had 4 episodes back. We've gotten 100,000. Well, after this episode uploads, if it stays in the same trajectory, we'll get close to 100,000 views this month on it on the podcast, and we'll have over 10,000 downloads as well. So I just want to say thank you guys for the support that you've given us this month, and we're going to continue to rock out with this show and hopefully grow it and have some fun. We had some technical difficulties today, so I apologize for that. But that's what happens when you're running out of a bedroom. Sometimes things are going to happen. This will be uploaded to iTunes, YouTube, and Spotify by tomorrow morning. I appreciate you guys very much. And I'll see you guys next week. Might be some schedule changes due to Thanksgiving. But other than that, thank you guys for rocking out with us, man. Have a good one.